He has been seeing a lot of me.
Spoiling the hell out of you.
And he's been spoiling the hell out of me. And he's been catching feelings.
Mm-hmm.
He told me he's falling in love with me.
Yeah, and what was your response to that?
I said...
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the #1 sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good, the bad, and Lilly.
The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The shocking
yeah.
stories of sugar dating.
That's right. The shocking.
Yeah. This is going to be a little bit shorter episode. It's just you and me again.
Yeah.
And you were running late. You had to go get your hair did.
If you would start wearing deodorant, we could maybe get some guests on the podcast.
Is that the problem?
No.
No.
You have wonderful hygiene, sir.
Thank you. No, Kimmy's out of town. Vivian's out of town. Kevin's out of town.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm going to be out of town this weekend.
Guess who's going to be out of town for 4 weeks straight?
Yeah, Sugar Daddy vacation is coming up.
Mm-hmm. Family vacation.
European vacation.
Yeah. I did see European Vacation.
You saw that movie?
It's been a long time,
Yeah,
but...
it was hilarious. All those vacation movies were funny. So are you going to have some good stories for us?
Well, I imagine I will.
Yeah, I'm expecting it. So your Sugar Daddy, podcast fanboy.
Yeah.
One of them. He listens to this religiously.
He does.
And you've been talking a lot about trucker.
Yeah, my trucker.
Trucker Sugar Daddy.
Yeah.
What's the feedback on that?
Well, actually, great segue. So the episode hasn't come out yet where I mentioned about the meet and greet where the guy wanted a companion for New York and Europe. Well, he offered to gift me $600 a day to travel with him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's come out. I think that comes out next episode, right?
Well, it'll be out by the time we're talking about this.
Okay, but my point is
last week, yeah.
Podcast Fanboy has not heard that episode.
Right.
And today I got a message asking about what could he do to help me out since I was going to miss 3 weeks of wages. And he said, I was thinking this, how does that sound to you? And let me just say, it's a very generous amount that more than covers my lost wages.
Podcast fanboy?
Yeah.
So he's taking you to Europe.
Yes.
He's covering your lost wages.
Yes.
How good is sugar dating for you?
He's more than covering my lost wages.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I need a sugar mama.
You do.
I really do. This is a glorious
goodness.
life you're leading.
Well, I'm telling you, it's feast or famine, and I went through a lot of famine before I found my happy place in sugar dating, and right now I'm in a really happy place.
Yeah. You know, it's funny when doors close, like you had some relationships that blossomed a little bit through sugar dating, and they kind of came to a screeching, fiery end.
Yeah.
You think, you know, and you were in such a down mood. You were kind of not in a good place mentally, but just because you just felt beaten up. But here, look at you now.
Never date a Scorpio if you're
well,
if you're me. Never date a Scorpio.
Yeah,
it's just specific. It isn't meant to be.
Yeah, but things have sure gotten very nice for you.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy right now.
Good. And then you still haven't revealed this podcast to Sugar Daddy Trucker. Is that what we call him?
Oh, no. Okay, so he knows about the podcast. He doesn't... Actually, I might have accidentally told him the title of it the other day, inadvertently. But I asked him not to listen to it, and he swears he won't. Just because he's a different person. So, Podcast Fanboy, when he texted me, how could he help me out financially because he knows I'm going to miss work, he goes, I know you're going to miss 3 weeks of work, plus you won't be doing any other dating. So, I mean, he's fine with me sugar dating. He's fine with whatever. But Trucker gets a little jealous.
Yeah, so here all of a sudden feelings are getting involved with the other sugar daddy.
Yeah, it's a don't ask, don't tell policy, kind of like the military. He knows we're not exclusive, but he doesn't want details.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is he starts filling in the blanks in his head with his own scenario like he did to you the other night.
Yeah. We had a little bit of a falling out.
Yeah, a little spat because you're off doing something. And so he has to assume because you guys you're not open. Like Alejandra and I, we vowed to be open about this. So at least we know the real story. We may not like it, but at least we know the real story and we don't have to make up this scenario in our head.
Yeah, my trucker
But your
jumped
trucker guy
to a conclusion.
Yeah.
And he got a little huffy with me.
Mm-hmm.
And for a split second, I thought, you know what? This isn't going to work out. I even told him, I don't think this is going to work out.
Now, you guys have been seeing each other for how long?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, we went to the Suns game with you. We double dated. That was kind of like the first real date besides the meet and greet, right?
So when was that?
I think that was in March sometime. Yeah. I can look it up.
Before my birthday?
Yeah. So, yeah, it was. I think it was before your birthday. So we're talking you've only been dating like 2 months.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah.
But he's been seeing a lot of you.
He has been seeing a lot of me.
Spoiling the hell out of you.
And he's been spoiling the hell out of me. And he's been catching feelings.
Mm-hmm.
He told me he's falling in love with me.
Yeah. And what was your response to that?
I said, pump the brakes and slow your roll.
You told him that?
Yeah. I said, we are not using the L word at this early juncture, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I know. He goes, I just thought you should know that I am feeling feelings and I do see potential. He's like, no pressure. And I know it's way too early, but just thought I should mention it. I'm like, oh, dear God, no.
I know. It's really funny because Alejandra, she does the like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like me or like me or like me? I guess there's different degrees
Check
of like.
yes or no.
Right. Well, interestingly enough, I've talked about how we have an open relationship, but we really haven't been dating other people because our people just kind of faded out. All the guy interest, or let's say all the guys that were interested in her have kind of faded away.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been spending so much time with her, and most of the girls that I had been dating have faded away. So here we found ourselves not exclusive, but almost exclusively dating.
Yeah.
And then she revealed to me after a weekend where I was not around, and she got very lonely and a little sad because she had nothing to do. She got back on Seeking and reactivated her account.
Yeah.
So
how does that make you feel?
Yeah, that I don't know. I'm kind of like, well, I guess I need to kind of pull back a little and not let my heart be so vulnerable because now she's going to be dating other guys. And I guess it kind of opens up to me where I've had a few girls reach out to me lately and I didn't know what to do with this information, but hell, fuck it. I mean,
yeah,
it's all fair game now, right?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I've had some people reach out to me on Seeking. I've got now 117 unread messages on my account. And I'm really thinking about paying the, whatever it is, $100 and something.
Paying the piper.
Paying the piper to see all these messages. Because there's some of them that what's really funny is I've either met them or we've chatted in the past and I don't think they know it's me. Because I don't have any.
You know what? That could.
So it's pretty funny.
Be absolutely correct because I've had that happen before.
Yeah. Or you've chatted with somebody and you're like, wait a minute. Once you start the dialogue, you're like, I chatted with you like 3 years ago and decided it wasn't going to work.
Well, I think it's funny when I'm chatting with someone on one of these news sites that I'm on and I realize, wait a minute, you reached out to me on Seeking also.
Yeah.
Actually, the redheaded guy, he stopped messaging me, but he reached out to me from Seeking and Secret Benefits. I was like, wait a minute. Don't I know you? He's like,
I remember you telling us that story.
Yeah, you know me. But I don't know what happened to him. He's a very busy person, so
yeah,
it happens.
So are you doing anything for Memorial Day weekend with any sugar daddies or his family?
Family. So I head out for a week on the West Coast with the kiddos doing fun grandmotherly things.
Yeah.
Yeah. California vacation with the kids and grandkids. And then I come back and I literally have a handful of days to get ready for Europe.
Yeah.
So don't expect much work out of me.
Right. Well, this weekend, which is Memorial Day weekend, I know it's a couple weeks ago once this episode airs, but we are going to go see Dr. Charles again in San Diego. Alejandra and I are making the trip.
Gosh, I am jealous.
And we're going out on his boat this time. Alejandra's out of school, so she doesn't have to get back. We had to get back early because she had some tests to take. One of Dr. Charles' sugar babies is going to be there. And
one of the ones you already met?
Yeah. Yeah, we like
Cool.
her. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So her
The
and
blonde or the brunette?
the brunette. Yeah.
Okay.
And so her and Alejandra have been kind of chatting through texting, and so they're going to have a nice little fun reunion.
And didn't you say little Miss Kimmy might
She may join us. She
join
talked
you?
about coming down there. I have her ID, so I'm going to take it to California.
So little Miss Kimmy, my grandson adores her. Maybe while we're in California, we might get a chance to have a lunch with her or something too.
Yeah. Now, what part of
Yeah.
California are you going to?
Anaheim and LA.
Oh,
And
okay.
she's in LA. So maybe if her schedule allows and our schedule allows, we could at least do lunch or dinner or something.
Mm-hmm.
I need to reach out to her.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to see her.
I booked this tiny home through Airbnb. I like doing unique things.
I do too.
Instead of just going to, a nice hotel with all the amenities, I like exploring different options for housing. And I think Alejandra's going to really enjoy it. I haven't told her yet, but it's a little cottage. It's a little mini house in the back of somebody's yard.
Fun.
And yeah, I look forward. I saw the pictures. He's a brand new host. Yeah, so we'll probably be one of the first guests there. I look forward to experiencing that. And then we're going to go, all right, we're going to try round 2 bike riding around Coronado because she talked me into something that didn't quite work last time, which was a tandem or like can't remember what it was. Where a bike where you sit next to each other, not behind each other, but next to each other.
Yeah.
And we didn't get very far.
And that was a fail?
It was so much work. I just turned around and I said, I am exhausted. So
how far do you think you rode before you gave up?
We didn't go. We may have got a mile and then just came back. But this time we're going to get individual bikes right around the island because it's really cool.
Yeah.
So
get the ones that you can click on the motor if you need to.
No, we don't need a motor. We're both fit and this is going to be good exercise for us.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just kind of in a dilemma. So if I do sign up for Seeking, like what am I going to do? Meet new people? What if I find one I really like? I can't really afford 2 monthly allowances at this point.
Well, I say cross that bridge when you get to
I
it.
know, right?
Life is an adventure.
But isn't that the risk that you run, right? When you're have an open relationship?
You got to risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
So
It'll be interesting.
This is a strange thing that happened to me
Okay.
the other day while we were out and about doing work stuff. I get a phone call from Sexy Lexi.
Oh.
And she says, you got a minute or two to
And she was
chat?"
on our show a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you guys remember Sexy Lexi. Anyway, she said, the strangest thing happened to me on Seeking. And I said, well, what? Do tell. She said, well, this gentleman reached out to me and I immediately recognized him from his photos. And also his message to me had his name on it. And it was one of my dad's friends.
From California?
I guess.
Yeah, she grew up, I think, in San Diego area.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember where he was from. But he lives here now. And he also has a home in Costa Rica and a cabin up north in Arizona. And I was like, what's this guy's name? Because this sounds really familiar to somebody I was talking to a long time ago. And she told me the name, and it just gets weirder.
Okay.
It was the guy that I was talking to many moons ago. Well, we talked extensively, but we never actually met because he started giving me a creepy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a guy who is probably in his, I'm going to say mid-60s. He's widowed. And I said, well, why don't we FaceTime or talk on the phone. He's like, well, I'm absolutely not video chatting. I'm like, why not? He goes, real men don't video chat. I don't video chat. None of my manly friends video chat. I'm like,
He's older.
okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He probably doesn't use a computer either.
I don't know. I just thought it was strange. And then I was like, well, then let's meet face to face for a coffee here somewhere in the Valley of the Sun. And he's like, well, I'm getting ready to have a surgery and I got to go up to my cabin and get it winterized. So this was obviously quite some time ago. Get it winterized. And so it's just a very pleasant 3-hour drive. Why don't you meet me there?
Pleasant 3-hour drive.
Yeah. I'm like, you want me to meet and greet you at a cabin in the middle of nowhere?
Yes, I do remember you telling me the story.
I go, I am not coming to your murder cabin, sir.
Oh my
He's like, it's not a murder cabin. I go, how would one know that?
Right.
Why would you not just meet me in town? Why would you need me
Doesn't
to...
want to FaceTime.
Yeah. Why
No,
would you
there's
need
a
me
lot
to
of red
drive
flags.
to your murder cabin?
Yeah.
And so he was just kind of strange and chauvinistic and seemed very controlling. And so I just stopped talking to him. Anyway,
And this is the same guy that reached out to her.
Yeah,
and she
Sexy
knows
Lexi.
him.
Yeah, she knows of
Wow.
him. I go, is he weird? She goes, I really don't know. I actually had a crush on his son back when I was 14, and he was a bit older than me, but I had a huge crush on his son at the time. And I go, well, are you going to meet him? She goes, I think I should just out of curiosity, because he obviously does not know from seeking that it is me. He doesn't know that he's already met
Yeah,
me.
they're in different towns and different situations. So
And she goes, I sort of just want to meet in public and just see if he actually ends up recognizing me or not. She goes, I think I'm very different and I look very different. So I don't know if he will, but she said just for a social experiment, it might be fun as long as it's a public place. And so I gave her my feedback about him and I said, for sure it needs to be a public place because I sense he could be a little strange.
all right. So did you guys just leave it at that then?
Yeah, we left
All
it
right.
at that. So I don't know if she ended up meeting him or not.
We need to hear an
talked
update
again.
on that. Well, you've had some strange profiles reach out to you lately.
Oh, yes, I have.
My goodness. You've kind of shared them with the group.
I know. I should find that one and read it. But I had, gosh, sometimes it astonishes me who thinks they're a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
I had a 21-year-old reach out to me. I'm like, what?
Off of Seeking or?
Off of Seeking.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm like, oh, I have to see what this is about. So I go and I read his profile, and there's not much there. But basically he says, I am autistic, and I work to help my mother out. And I'm looking to be a sugar daddy, something like that.
Oh, my goodness.
The 21-year-old autistic boy is shooting his shot with 53-year-old me.
Well,
This is insane.
shooting his shot.
Yeah, I didn't even respond.
No.
I didn't know what to say. I feel bad, but I did not respond to that one.
Mm-hmm. And you usually respond to
I
most
usually-
everyone.
I usually do. I'm very kind about it,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what to say, and I was really busy at the time, and I kind of just let too much time lapse to even respond. But you know who keeps on keeping on? Robot Chicken.
Robot Chicken. We've talked about him, right? Before?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can't make this shit up.
Okay.
There's a guy, and I don't know. I hope he's not a listener.
But that's his username?
His username is Robot
Yeah,
Chicken.
That's right. I do remember this.
Okay, why? I guess I should have asked why. I may at some
I
point.
think you did ask why.
No, I didn't.
No?
No, because I was honestly trying to gently shun him from future interactions. And I told him that I was seeing somebody exclusively. And I was in an exclusive arrangement. But good luck. But I'll be damned if he doesn't reach out probably once a week and I don't answer. He checks on me about once a week. Good old Robot Chicken. And this, oh, I shouldn't say it, but this man, okay, I don't want to say this man is not attractive because maybe he's attractive to someone, but I can't find one thing about his profile that I'm even remotely attracted to.
And you're pretty open-minded.
I am.
Like, you're not a stick in the mud where you will only go out with guys 6 feet and above.
No,
You know,
I don't have
athletic
necessarily
frame, blah,
have
blah,
a type.
right.
But if I had a not my type, this would be it. Not my type. And he doesn't look like a robot nor a chicken, but he's still not my type.
And how long has this been going on?
This has been going on for months and months and months.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I guess I'll give him some kudos for hanging in there and
I guess so.
keep on keeping on.
I don't know. I guess there's been rare cases where persistence does pay off, and certainly the movies glamorize it, you know.
That's true.
But in reality, man, I tell you what, if they say no a few times, I'm gone. Just move on. Like,
Yeah.
why are you wasting your breath? And even if they finally pity date you, go out with you just because they're tired of it, I mean, how good is that date going to be? Right? They don't really want to go out with you.
It's going to be awful.
Yeah. You've gone on some pity dates.
Oh, yes, I have.
And
they weren't all awful, but the chemistry wasn't there.
yeah, and almost 100% of the time, it's exactly what you thought it was going to be.
Every once in a while, I am pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
And then I'm so grateful that I gave it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I'd say 9 out of 10 meet and greets are not going anywhere. What would you say?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was just thinking when I was a lot more active, there would be some things in the photos I just didn't really like, but then they'd have one photo that was amazing. And I'm thinking they're going to be this amazing, but then they actually turn out to be exactly what they advertised to be in the other photos or worse. But yeah, there's been times I've been pleasantly surprised. And when somebody is better looking in person, I always tell them, your photos do not do you justice. And they go, I know, my friends tell me that. I just don't take good photos. I don't know. There's just some people and it's a lot with their personality too. It makes them better looking.
Yeah. Personality is a huge factor in attraction for most people. Yeah. You told me that the first time we met. You told me my photos were nice, but that I was more attractive in person.
And I think that's what happens with you is you go on a lot of meet and greets and then they're like, oh, wow, she's amazing in person. Yeah. And then they want to continue and you're like, nah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a little tough.
Like the guy at the granite warehouse.
Oh, yes. Lilly. So Lilly got
Mr. Tom
hit on by an 85-year-old granite salesman the other day, and he was so smitten with her. So I'm with a client, and I had Lilly come along with me, and we're picking out some slabs of quartz and granite for this lady's kitchen, and Lily's giving her
my input.
Yeah, her input because, you know, she's got that designer mentality, and our salesman kind of noticed it. So when my customer and Lilly walked off, he sure started asking me a lot of questions about you and making comments about you.
And then we found out Mr. Tom was 85 years old.
He looked good for 85.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed.
I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah, he still has a lot of life in him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's walking around. If I would have guessed, I would have said he was about 70. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Mr. Tom still got game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's still kicking it there. Still got an eye for the pretty women.
Oh, goodness.
See, I hope I'm that way when I'm 85.
Yeah.
If I make it that far, I want to be.
You're still going to be a flirt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't ever want to lose it. And, you know, I've told this story before, but it's been a long time. I was a football referee in Texas, and I was in my 20s, and I went on a crew to do a football game. And all my crew was in their 60s, and we even had a guy in his 70s. High school football, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we walk out, and these cheerleaders are right next to us, and they're doing these sexy dances, and they look amazing. So, you know, I'm observing and noticing, but I'm not saying anything. But the older men, the 60s and 70-year-old guys, like, you know, they're commenting like, good Lord, these girls. I don't remember them being this beautiful when I was that age, right? And I looked at one guy and I go, wait a minute. You mean I don't lose it? Because I had no idea. I'm in my 20s. I didn't know if you lost it.
Yeah.
When you're in your 50s, 60s, and 70s. And they're still noticing the pretty women. And I was like,
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I think some
that
people
gave me some excitement and some, hope about my future that I wasn't going to lose it.
I think some people do lose it.
Yeah.
And here's why.
Well, some people do, yeah.
Like, for example, my trucker guy. He was in a 2-year committed living together relationship before he started sugar dating. And he said initially they had a great connection, great intimacy, very fiery relationship, but she went through menopause and she just was not interested anymore. So.
Yeah, but he didn't lose his eye
No.
for pretty women.
No, absolutely he did not.
That's a whole different scenario.
No, but
that happens to a lot of couples.
Okay, well, I don't know if it happens to guys, but I know it happens to women.
Where she just kind of lost any interest in the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys are built different.
So she said.
Yeah. Yeah, guys are built different.
I guess. Well, here's the deal. I'm sure she's not a whole lot older than me, but there's things she could do if she so chose. Like you can do hormone replacement therapy if you really feel like your levels are off. There are things you can do. And she just didn't want to. She felt like she was beyond that.
Well, Dr. Sex Fairy, our friend and host of Dr. Sex Fairy.
Yeah.
The show, Dr. Sex Fairy. Yeah, she deals with this type of sexual medicine and different kind of remedies for all kinds of problems.
There's
with great success.
Oftentimes things you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she said, if you don't use it, you lose it. Do you remember that?
Oh, Dr. Sex Fairy?
Yeah, because I asked her, okay, is it true that if you use vibrators or toys that you're desensitizing your anatomy? And she said, no, you should do that. Because if you don't use it, you lose it.
I do remember.
So if you don't have a partner, you should definitely be pleasuring yourself.
Yeah. If you want to check out that episode, it was many moons ago, but you could find it pretty easily, or you can listen to her podcast. She's got a lot of great things.
I know it was probably in the mid to late 40s because I looked up what my first episode was.
Oh, okay. So
what do you think my first episode was?
I don't remember. What is it?
If you had to wager a guess.
35, 40?
44.
44?
Yeah.
You're episode 44?
She's going to be after 44 because I was in on that one.
Yeah, but not too many after.
Yeah.
You were very new into this. Yeah.
That's why I said mid to late 40s.
We are coming down to getting very close to episode 100.
Mm-hmm.
What should we do for our 100th episode?
Champagne.
I'll tell you what, I'll put this one out to our listeners. If you have any great ideas or great topics for our 100th episode, send them to me. I'd love to look at them and see if we could implement them in.
Yeah, because this is going to be episode 95.
5, yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I get back from Europe, it'll be our
you'll be here
our
for
100th. Yep.
For 100th episode.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, we've talked about a lot of things, but here's one subject that we have not talked about. I pulled this article. Actually, it's on Seeking, but we're going to talk about it because Kimmy has actually experienced this.
What is it?
What to expect when dating a billionaire.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of levels of wealth. And like Kevin said a few episodes ago, a guy could have 100 million, but if you're a billionaire, that's 10 times that much. That was so insightful.
I can't even conceive of that many dollar bills.
Right.
If it was in ones, would it fill up this entire studio?
Man, I don't know. I'd like to find out.
If they were nicely stacked?
Yeah. Well, let's touch on this article a little bit.
Okay.
It's kind of because we did talk to somebody from Miami a while back, and she had a friend that met a billionaire on the site. And I know Kimmy has run into quite a few, more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting that Kimmy says even though they're a billionaire, they still, it's like going to McDonald's. Whether you're a billionaire or whether you're homeless, you're still paying the same amount of money for that meal. And she thinks that billionaires kind of have that mindset where they still treat a woman financially about the same that any other sugar daddy would. It's not like they're going to give her 10 times that much. Like, so for instance, if she's getting $600 or $800 per meet, that's the same thing that a billionaire would give her. I mentioned that on the show one day, and I thought that
I
was
would almost
interesting.
venture to guess that plenty of our wealthy sugar daddies are probably even more generous than a billionaire sugar daddy would be.
Yeah, I think so.
For example, like my trucker.
He's super generous.
Yeah, he gives me a monthly allowance.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me an Amex card. He bought me a brand new bicycle. And then I was complaining about my washer and dryer in my apartment. He bought me a brand new washer and dryer for my rental. He seriously is super generous.
That was $2,000.
And I know he's a millionaire. I don't know what his net worth is. I don't know. But he's definitely not a billionaire.
No.
No, not even close.
No.
But he's probably more generous than many a billionaire would be. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yep. All right. So the article says, this is pretty good. If the helicopters, yachts, and private jets are really all that glamorous, behind the NDAs, charters, and Fashion Week's front row, there is a reality to dating billionaires. However, it may not quite be the HBO special that you might expect. Picture this. It's your average Tuesday night, and you have a handwritten invitation to a Michelin star restaurant. Have you ever eaten at one of those?
A Michelin-style restaurant?
Michelin star.
No. I don't know. Have I?
I don't think so. I don't. Do they have them here in Arizona? I know they have them in LA, and
I'm Googling it. I don't even know what that means.
Well, it's just a highly rated restaurant, like a 5-star or something like that.
Keep going, sir.
Anyway.
I'll research for you.
Says you have a handwritten invitation to a Michelin star restaurant that you've never heard of. Instead of roses, you've been sent a large, square Chanel box. When you pull that dress out, it's tailored to your measurements and straight off the runway. This reminds me, did we talk about your sugar daddy sending you a dress?
Yeah.
we talked about that.
I talked about it.
Oh, yeah. That didn't quite match your style.
A designer dress that was $450.
Yeah.
And then I tried it on. I'm like, I look better in clothes from Walmart.
All right, going on. It says, just yesterday, you returned from a trip to a small island off the coast to a private beach, only accessible by yacht, just like the one he had sailed down from Italy. There are parties with crowds of investors, lavish dinners, and invitations to high society events. When he walks into a room with you on his arm, you feel like the luckiest girl in the world. Billionaires are a type unto themselves. It's true. They're private, notorious, and in 2023, increasingly common. A good percentage of those billionaires are on Seeking, too. So dating a billionaire will change your life. Everything starts to become effortless with that much money. Boundaries and obstacles disappear. It's pure freedom, but there has to be a certain amount of moderation, particularly if it's new to you. The change in lifestyle and the world of opportunity that has opened to you is something to be appreciated, but also not something to be taken for granted. So I guess they're talking about in this article maybe the trips that you're going on and the restaurants that you're eating. I don't know that the girls are getting that much financial compensation like Kimmy was saying, but, men are willing and have the means to whisk you off to a private island in their private jet at any moment. I know she met this billionaire in California, and he is in the real estate business, I think in the mobile home business. And she was leaving California at the time, but he had offered, hey, we got a group going in a private jet, and we're going, I don't know, Cabo San Lucas or somewhere. You should come along. Just like that. He just decided to go. Unfortunately, she couldn't go, but those are the kind of opportunities that you would have with a billionaire versus your average sugar daddy.
Cafe Monarch is a Michelin star restaurant.
Well, I don't doubt that.
And there's actually quite a few in Arizona. Wren and Wolf.
Oh, it is really?
Yeah.
I want to take Alejandra there.
And there's one I want to go to. I was going to ask if you guys wanted to double date with me and my trucker.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's called Christopher's at Wrigley Mansion.
Oh, yes, definitely. Let's do that.
Yeah. I've never been there, but I want to go.
Mm-hmm. All right, going on with this article, it says you'll need to get used to the best of the best. Couture gowns, diamonds, and gold. Maybe he even collects vintage sports cars just to look at them. or has art hanging in his living room by the great masters. To let these things overwhelm you and influence the way that you treat him could negatively impact the depth of your relationship and act as obstacles themselves in further deepening that connection. It's important to maintain a grounding in reality because once the glamour fades, you will still have the person. So expect the unexpected when dating the 1%. With wealth like that, there comes major eccentricity.
You know what? I'm going to jump on that bandwagon because I've straight up said that time and again.
Yeah. In order to achieve that level of success, billionaires are out-of-the-box thinkers who often are used to doing things in their own unique ways. A brilliant mind can bring with it its own complications. He might, on a whim, decide that the pair of you need to jump in his plane and hike the Inca Trail, or he'd like a dinner in Tokyo at the very top of Tokyo Tower. These whims can drive you out of your comfort zone, or they can test your patience. This kind of eccentricity can also mean that he's going to follow his own whims, and you may not see him for weeks at a time. In the end, you're on his time, and that means a lifestyle that moves a pace that very few can keep up with. If you can, however, you're in for the adventure of a lifetime in a league far above first class.
Okay.
All right, goes on. Don't fall for the luxury lifestyle. Billionaire dating might be a dream come true for many, but at the same time, you are still dating a human being with a past and their own secret history. You have to value the person, not just the luxury lifestyle for it to work. Billionaires don't want to be treated with the same deference as their employees might treat them. You're their date, and the relationship is still a relationship, just like any other. They are people in the end, even if they're elevated their lives to a point that not many ever will. You might find yourself for a loss on how to return his generosity or match up to wealth on that level. It's vital to note that you cannot buy genuine connection and that all people, even the men behind the billions, are going to appreciate gestures that are specific and thoughtful and show care for them specifically. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I didn't hear a thing you said because I need to correct my previous statement because I guess I was reading some reviews that say those restaurants are Michelin star caliber.
Caliber, yeah.
But then I found this that says, unfortunately, Michelin inspectors have not given any stars to any restaurants in Arizona yet.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I hadn't heard any.
Hopefully one day the state will get the recognition it deserves. Do you want to know which states have Michelin star restaurants?
Only a few?
There's only a few.
Okay, what is it?
California,
Yeah.
Illinois, New York, and Washington, D.C.
That's it?
That is it.
Maybe that's why I really hadn't heard of it. I mean,
yeah.
Every now and then I'll hear somebody say Michelin star, and I just assume that it's some highly rated restaurant, but they just don't have them here in Arizona.
I just don't want to be spreading misinformation because
they're worthy.
That will make somebody angry.
Well, I had a call from an ex-sugar baby yesterday, and she was asking me a question about something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but, you know what it was? She was asking me questions about Cafe Monarch, whether she should sit inside or on the patio, because she had heard us talking about it, highly raving about how great it was. And so she's going to take her boyfriend of 6 years or 5 years there.
I vote for the patio.
Yeah, I told her the patio.
Oh, it's so pretty out there.
It is absolutely stunning. All right, we're almost done with this article.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
I sure did.
Okay, back to these billionaires. It says, know your worth. With the parties and the Cristal champagne, the Chanel, and the globetrotting, also comes a certain crowd of friends and business partners, usually ones to keep a close, tight-knit circle. Billionaires will have a wider circle of people surrounding them who are often equally powerful people. You will be seated at the table with high-level thinkers and business people, and many may mistrust your intentions in your relationship. It's important not to let the opinions of those who do not know the details of your personal relationship affect how you treat your partner and also how you view yourself. He may also be surrounded by people who want something from him. That kind of wealth can lead to a plethora of people who want to befriend him for his status connections, and those relationships can be compelling.
I absolutely have witnessed that.
You're dating him, not his money. And keeping this in mind is a key part of retaining your own self-worth within the relationship. So here are 6 tips to summarize on how to date a billionaire. Meeting a billionaire is possible, but you have to know what to look for. Chances are their profile will look like any other profile. They're not going to list their net worth, and if anything, they downplay their wealth. We see that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
We see really wealthy men downplay their wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you have to read into what they don't say. Ask them about how they like to travel. A billionaire isn't going to fly commercial, for example. Number 2, more often than not, their dating profiles will be managed by a secretary, dating consultant, or personal assistant. They'll be open about this in their messages to you, so take note. If someone announces that they're talking on behalf of the profile holder, you ever had that happen? Where
I have not.
somebody other than that person contacted you?
Nope, never.
Number 3, Seeking found that a good percentage of men lie about their net worth, but not in the way you might expect. A billionaire's profile might downplay it completely in order to prevent gold diggers and try to find more genuine connections. Number 4, a billionaire will act fast. They're used to getting what they want and when they want it. They won't waste your time. You'll be on a date with them after a few days. They're not going to let the conversation online drag on. Number 5, make sure your profile has clear, elegant pictures of yourself and that your bio is eloquent and well-worded. Add a funny quip, something highbrow, a reference to a book that you love. Good grammar is everything. So write your bio in a word processor before transferring it over to the website. Yeah, grammar. When you read a profile that has all kinds of grammar mistakes, what's your first thought?
Nails on a chalkboard.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
I can't.
Yeah.
I hate it.
And number 6, lastly, you need to curate your online dating experience in order to find a billionaire. Pick a website such as Seeking that has a positive, luxurious reputation. Billionaires will not associate with brands that don't speak to their own image and standards. Now, of course, this article was written by Seeking, so it's referencing them often, but you can find them on different sites. Millionaire Matchmaker, I think, probably has a few on there. I don't know.
I have no idea.
You haven't yet to
and
meet a
I
billionaire
am not
yet?
even one iota worried about trying to meet up with a billionaire because those mega rich dudes are entitled and they're delusional.
It's a whole different set of issues that you deal with.
Yeah, they're not going to be catering to you. And
Yeah.
I want to be pampered like the princess that I am.
Yeah, so there's, I guess there's a niche for us guys that aren't billionaires, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Which is most of us.
Because I'm not going to tolerate somebody who's entitled and delusional. I did it for 3 months, and then I was like, out of there.
Right?
I couldn't.
Yeah, you've
and
run
he
in.
wasn't even close to a billionaire. He was a multi-millionaire for sure,
Yeah.
but not a billionaire.
Yeah, but you've dated some ultra wealthy men,
Yes.
and they just seem to, and we're talking in generalities, but in general, they just treat women differently because
They're
why?
entitled and delusional.
Yeah,
I summed it up for you.
you summed it up.
Yeah. They're entitled and delusional. They think they're the most intelligent, the most attractive, and they're just doing you a gigantic favor by gracing you with their presence.
Now, do you find this from people that are self-made millionaires or people that kind of have worked a family business or inherited a lot of money? Do you see any difference?
I feel like most of the extremely wealthy people I've dated have at least told me that they were self-made.
I think Trucker is self-made.
Absolutely self-made.
Absolutely self-made. And that's why he treats you, because he knows what it's like to struggle and fight for everything that he has.
He is very humble, but he also has really high standards, like for accommodations and stuff like that.
Well, he likes the finer things?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's good.
Well, no, that is wonderful. I was just surprised, though, considering his very humble beginnings. I was surprised that he had become so elitist about things like that. And then the Scorpio came from humble beginnings.
Yeah.
But he sure did let it go to his head. And he had a lot of those suck up people that tried to sponge off him
Yeah, he
around him at all times.
He definitely had people befriending him
I call him
with ulterior motives.
I call him the wolves in sheep's clothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your best friend.
Yeah.
Can you buy me a house?
Well, I have a guy that's my friend up at the country club that I play golf at, and he's a billionaire now, I'm sure, or he's very close to it. And you would never know it. He literally comes to the course in blue jeans and a white golf shirt. And his shoes are well worn, and he's just a good old boy. He was a framer. He started out in the 70s as just a framer for a construction company, and now he's built a huge, huge luxury rental market. And he's so humble.
That's great.
We just love hanging around him.
Well, like the people that you're doing the $250,000 remodel for,
Oh, yeah.
they're the sweetest, nicest, most humble people. I find them very enjoyable. They're extremely wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And they have high taste, like very extravagant taste.
Yeah.
But very sweet and thoughtful people, I think. Especially the wife.
Yes.
She's always taking your crew
she's bringing them
treats
pizza
and food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making sure that they feel good. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, hey, one last question. Are a lot of people in Texas fat?
People are fat everywhere. I've noticed that. Why do you ask particularly in Texas? Because I was just there.
I haven't been to Texas in a long time, but I went to the comedy club with Trucker the other night, and we saw Sean Wayans. And the guy who opened for Sean Wayans, I don't remember his name, he said, I recently did a gig in Texas, and it made me realize something about my body. I'm not Texas fat, but I'm also not Scottsdale skinny.
Well, okay, so I was just in Texas playing a golf tournament and doing some family things, hanging out with some friends, and I did notice that almost every guy on that golf course had a beer belly. Almost every single one of them. Fitness is not a high priority. Now, this is a small central Texas community. This is not Dallas, Austin, like with some of the bigger cities. But you get in these small rural areas, health is just not, it's just not a big thing.
Well, you're surrounded by beer and brisket. What are you to do?
I know, and we did eat a lot of that. I did notice, though, when I was in Vancouver, Canada, so downtown, the girl I was seeing at the time, she says, you're not going to see fat people in Vancouver. And I'm like, no fat people? And she's like, you just walk around and look. So here I strolled the streets for an hour, and we're walking around different stores and shops, and there was no fat people.
Australia, too.
Oh, my God. Everybody was they were very health conscious. They were jogging. They were biking. And there was literally no fat people.
I experienced that when I was in Perth.
Really?
Australia. Yeah. We stayed in a hotel that was right on the water, and all times, night and day, there are people bicycling by on the bike path by the ocean or running. They were exercise fanatics, and everyone was in good shape.
Well,
and you know what? The food there, oh goodness. I gained a pound or two because the food is really good.
Yeah.
And it's not always the healthiest. Maybe I was just making bad choices.
Well, a healthy body, it makes for a healthy mind, so we do encourage it. We both have some things to work on, but we're working on those, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm doing real good.
Well, that is the end of today. If you want to share your thoughts or comments or stories, go to our website at secretsofasugardaddy.com. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the same name. All right. Until next episode. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.